that? The white.
Dorsal nerve.
Vertebral column.
Vertebral column. Okay, vertebral column. Yung red, makikita nyo nga pala may colored parts. The blue parts are the arteries, the red parts are the veins. They've been colored. Okay, some specimens for anatomy are treated with a dye. They're injected to the blood vessels. Para madaling makita. Pag blue artery, pag red, like here, veins. Okay? Yung cuts sa comparative anatomy, depends on where you get them, pero most likely, they won't be colored. So it will be a bit more challenging to study veins and arteries. Ito kasi ordered from the States to eh. $12. Each $12 each chart. Kasi colored. Ha?
Kano yung packaging?
Galing sa beverage.
Kasama na yun, pero yung shipping, yun yung medyo...
Mahal yung shipping.
Tapos ang dami pang kailangan daanan.
Yeah.
Like we needed to get licenses from PAUB, from ANR, ship them. Anyway, yun. So that's the muscular system. Let's discuss the other parts. Respiratory system, of course, they respire through gills. Those are the gills. Okay, see them on the side. Ginupit namin. Nandiyan yung gill slits. So the pharyngeal slits become modified into gill slits, which you find here. Yun yung gill sa loob. Okay? Of course, they don't have lungs. The only fishes that have lungs are the lungfish. Okay? Let's look at the other parts, particularly the parts of the digestive system. But first of all, here's the heart. Okay?
Yellow.
No, not the yellow.
Ayun. Madali na puso.
Shark sa balon.
Wala silang puso.
Ibig sabihin na sila marunong.
Yeah, but small.
Okay.
But yellow.
Yellow, isa pa yun. That's an additional coloration. Pag red vein, pag blue artery, pag yellow, it's part of the hepatic portal system. Hepatic portal system is a system of veins that runs through the liver, separates siya from the other veins because the pathway of blood through the liver is independent of the path of veins through the other parts of the body. Okay, so yun yung hepatic. Pag sinabi yung hepatic, that refers to the liver, di ba? Hepatitis is disease of the liver. Okay? So, parts of the digestive system, of course, these big structures here on either side, left and right, liver. Okay?
Looks like chest.
Remember, they depend on the liver not only for the functions of the liver, which are secretion, production of bile, regulation of hormones, regulation of glucose in the blood. It's also for flotation. Remember, the sharks depend on the liver for flotation or buoyancy. Very oily yan yung may squalene, di ba? So if you touch it, if you want to touch it, you'll feel that it's very oily. Okay? Mapuputol na pala tong liver na to. What's this? The middle. Ito. Yung mukhang deflated. In life, kung buhay pa tong shark na to, malaki yan. It would be filled with liquid.
Swim bladder. Floating bladder.
Gallbladder. Diba? Remember, the liver produces bile, which is for breaking down fat. The gallbladder is for storage of bile. Okay? Kaya laging nasa tabi ng liver. That's why here in the toad, it's the same. You find the liver here, then in the middle of the lobes of the liver, you'll find the gallbladder. Okay? Sa gitna. So it's the same. Kasi yung gallbladder is associated in function with the liver. Okay? The mouth will of course lead towards the esophagus, then it will lead to the stomach. Kaya may, yan, puro arteries yan. Those are gastric arteries. If you cut open the stomach, which is what we did here, you'll see that it has folds inside. Wow. What do you call the folds of the stomach?
Gastrointestinal line.
No.
Microvilus.
No.
Then what is?
Sa small intestine.
Start sila turn, sir.
R.
Rhizome.
Rhizome?
Starts with the letter.
Rectum.
Rugae.
Ayan, rugay.
Rugae. R-U-G-A-E. R-U-G-A-E.
Who's taking?
What are the rugae for? They're for increasing the surface area for digestion. Diba? What happens in the stomach? What type of digestion?
Chemical.
Human, kahit sa shark.
Mechanical.
Chemical.
It's mostly mechanical or physical digestion, churning or processing. Most of the chemical digestion will take place in the intestine. Sa stomach, konti lang. It's mostly a bit of protein degradation or protein breakdown, courtesy of pepsin. But it's mostly HCl, hydrochloric acid, which does what? What does the hydrochloric acid do? It prevents decay of food. It kills bacteria that will cause decomposition of food in the stomach.
Stomach.
So because of the HCl, the internal environment of the stomach is highly acidic. Okay, because of the hydrochloric acid. Coming from the stomach, it goes towards, what's this part?
In small intestine.
That's the small intestine. The first part is the duodenum. What is duodenum? What does it do? Or what happens in the small intestine? You have absorption, but before absorption, it's breakdown. Okay? Polymers are broken down into monomers, so sugars are broken down into monosaccharides, proteins are broken down into amino acids. Diba? So that happens. Then the smaller components, amino acids, sugars, are absorbed through the intestinal lining, brought to the blood to be carried to the other parts of the body for nutrition. Okay? What happens particularly in the first part of the small intestine, the duodenum?
Absorption nutrients.
That happens throughout the small intestine. What happens in the first part?
Absorption.
Products of the liver are brought into the duodenum, the bile, para mag-break down ng fat. The bile is for breaking down fat. What else? What's this part here? Itong part na to. You see this part?
Appendix.
It's not the intestine. Set off siya from the intestine. As with any, so remember this, as with any animal, as with any vertebrate, lagi siyang close to the small intestine. Okay, you'll see that in the cat. Okay, you'll see that here. That's the pancreas. Okay, this is the pancreas.
Pancreas is close to the small intestine.
Okay, why? Why is it close to the small intestine? Because the pancreas secretes pancreatic juice, which goes into the duodenum, small intestine. Now, what does the pancreatic juice contain?
Insulin.
What's inside? What are the enzymes inside the pancreatic juice?
Insulin.
Hormones yun. Those are not enzymes. It's not for fat. It's for breaking down protein. They're proteases. What are the two proteases in pancreatic juice?
Amylase.
That's a carbohydrate.